Hey,
Greg,
Laura. Hey, how are you?
I'm well. I really enjoyed the class on the weekend,
Oh,
and
good.
I um, at one point you said that Samantha had just gone out, and it was when we were using the oil mind, and
Oh, yes.
I had just dropped Samantha. I had just dropped mine straight down my shirt. Is there an alternative for that, or just order the mind? Is the mind something you
We'll
can
just
just?
send you a little replacement, but let's get you an alternative. Let's make a note to send her a little replacement for that
Oh, you
one.
don't need to do that because I've got some other stuff I'm ordering. So, but I just is that something that you think is that? Tell me a little bit about mind is what I would like for you to do.
Let me look it up and I can tell more when I look at the formula.
Because I found it really attractive and
Yeah, it's
getting out.
the the original reason that I made it was meditation on the blue pearl. Like helping prepare the brain and the mind for greater activation of the mental permanent seed up in the head. But I found that it actually did other things. But like when I made it, I wasn't really thinking about any of that. Let me run this down somewhere. I'm a little bit of a goofball. Like I have recipe books for so many different things. I have to run it down.
Want your
Letty may
recipe.
have it. She has a recipe that says Omni Visnaga, Champaka,
That sounds like
Cistus, Neroli, Poplar Balsam, and Swazi Valerian.
for the mind.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's probably it.
So there's not really an alternative. Just go ahead and get that.
I mean,
It sounds like it's worth it.
You could use spikenard or valerian. Boy,
Ooh.
I was swinging big with champaka, wasn't I? Give me just a sec here. I think it's in the esoteric.
Esoteric recipe book.
This is a little bit of welcome to my world. Like sometimes in the middle of blending, I have to sit and find out where I put something.
So what you're saying is you use it for other things besides just.
Yeah, I was using it for some psychological healing, and at first we were using it just for meditation, but then I started venturing into some esoteric practices, and then I started using it for psychological healing. And I think at one point I was actually even using it in some pain syndromes because of, like in pain syndromes, especially when they're chronic, is the instinctive mind gets over agitated, and then it's then it starts to go up and cause a chain reaction up into the mind. And they go through and they document this in orthodox medicine, but they usually don't do a whole lot about it except just usually prescribe antidepressants or things like that. But I find that if you use things like Gilead and things like Mind and stuff like that, you can really keep a lot of that stuff at bay. And so I've explored several different things, but valerian and spikenard, just even by themselves, will usually reduce the pain response, kind of similar to how we use galbanum and myrrh, but it's actually not so much like the myrrh and the galbanum are targeting more the limbic responses, where your spikenard and your valerian are hitting some different parts of the nervous system, and they're also calming and soothing part of the immune system. And so you could almost if you hit all those blanket things, I was just doing this in my notes the other day. I just do these things where I do these brain dumps. And part of why I can always find the recipes right off the bat. But I was just looking at, like, if you took away the topical kind of component of treating pain, and you just looked at it like, okay, the pain mechanisms in the body, like without treating the specific pain, like how good could you get at treating pain mechanisms before you even got to the location of the problem, right? And so the ones that come up are like the myrrh, the galbanum, spikenard, valerian, Gilead, that core breath, like the mind. There was this one blend, Aegis, Nerve Help. There was that one that's I think we named it NPR. Is that one? Which is Neuroprotective Response. Variations of these combinations almost can take enough of the pain out that when you get to the actual site of the pain, it's so reduced that it becomes very easy to treat, and you don't have the neurological, lower emotion, instinctive responses that happen with chronic pain over a period of time. And in the nerve pain arena, the thing that you're trying to avoid is bronchial spasms, like bronchial spasms and spasms in the trachea, and because that will just start exaggerating everything. And so the thing with like arthritic conditions is you want to keep lymphatic movement happening. And so if muscles contract, or if the diaphragm gets tight, or there's a lot of spasms, or in the muscle or in the tissue, it doesn't allow the lymphatic system to function well. So you're not really going to like a exact symptom. You're just trying to make the body function better so that it can handle the problem better. And so any combination of that is quite helpful. Like, just the myrrh and the galbanum usually nails it, but the spikenard and the valerian, like on the feed, inhaled, a few drops internally, can hit some different components. And then the Gilead was made for releasing the lower emotions. That was a direct result of pain, way back in the day. And I started playing with the idea of the mind blend to do some of that as well. It just feels good. Like at first I was like, man, this really helps my meditation. But I started noticing, like, whenever I was playing with it, my aches and pains didn't quite have the edge that they normally did. And I was like, that's kind of interesting. And then I started paying attention to it. I was like, I haven't even thought about my aches and pains for a few days, and I have like structural problems where, muscles were torn and bones were broken so many years ago that there's structural issues that are always having to be addressed. And I'll go days sometimes without thinking about it when I stay on top of the routine. And so, I was supposed to have the surgery probably, it's like 33 years ago or something. I was told that within 6 months, I probably would have a hard time standing for more than 5 or 10 minutes. And, I can feel it sometimes, but I've had enough surgeries. I don't need to throw a couple more on there. And so if I can avoid it, I can. And it's been 3 decades. So, all those little tricks are the things that help. And, if it helped you like mentally, great. But a lot of times I feel that it even helps me physically.
Thank you.
Does that help? What was your experience? I'm just curious.
Well, we were just doing the protocol and it just knocked me out. Like I said, I dropped it down the front of my shirt. It,
Yeah.
it was a really, so I didn't, to be honest, I didn't really remember all the details.
Well,
but
did it knocked you out? Because like if you think of like what pain is doing, pain is telling your nervous system you have an issue, you need to go into fight and flight. Like you have to protect the body, you have to, there's something that is sending up a red alert. And so like when you have a response like that, it's most likely it probably calmed some of those mechanisms down, because a lot of times when you're in like you have chronic pain or it might not always be even painful, but your body might be managing, but it's sending so much extra sensory nerve activity up to the brain that like you quiet it all down, and it's literally like your muscles relax, your nervous system relaxes, and that is the mechanism that happens when you start to fall asleep. And so like when you find something like that that really hits those things that kind of makes you a little sleepy or something, man, I would jump all over that and use it for either relaxing the body, going to sleep, because that is the issue also with chronic pain, is that it eventually throws off the sleep cycles. And so chronic pain eventually turns into a sleep disorder. And if you find something that really can calm you down in all of that, because it's not always the same from person to person. And so, boy, I would work that, even if it's one of the single oils, the spikenard, the valerian. Swazi is actually kind of nice for something like that. We don't really talk about Swazi very much, but Swazi is a little bit hard to work with because it's like really thick and sticky. And so a lot of times if you're just inhaling it out of the bottle, it's one thing, but to get it into a blend and use it on the body, it's a little bit hard to work with. But
well, and more than the physical stuff, I think I had busy mind because of issues that I was trying to work with, and
okay.
and it
So,
really settled that down
yeah,
immediately.
So that right there is why I made it in the first place. Like the like the brain and the mind, so that you could sit down and do meditation or the blue pearl or something like that. I used to refer to myself as King Monkey Mind. Like I just my mind was just always like bap, 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 bap. And I needed a way to like calm down to meditate, because I'd sit down to meditate and everybody would have blissful experiences, and I was like, yeah, I feel relaxed, but I just feel like I feel right now, like my eyes are closed, like I'm getting to take a break for 15 minutes, but like I wasn't getting the experience that everybody was. So I started trying to make things to like, I want a little bit of that blissful thing that everybody else is like talking about all the time. And so that was one of the things that I put in motion for that. I mean, like literally quieting the mind down was what that was for. Yeah. I started finding that it worked for some pain syndromes.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're so welcome.